Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Jane Meyer from the ABLE program. We're working with Adult Basic Literacy Education, and that's what ABLE stands for, Adult Basic and Literacy Education.
Correct.
We think of this as the GED, beginning to able to finish a high school diploma if you've not achieved that for whatever reason, whatever life interruption happened. Tell us a little bit about what takes place in those classes.
We're probably most known for GED. What would happen if you come in for a GED, and people are nervous to come in, and I don't really blame them. You know, it's a little bit embarrassing that you haven't finished.
Have you watched the show Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? I would not be able to pass a test if those questions were on the test. So I understand the nervousness.
Right, it is. It's a little bit, you don't know what to think. But what happens when you come in is we'll first give you a little assessment. And we have classes at various levels. For example, in math, we have 4 different levels of math classes. So we'll determine which level of class is right for you to begin in. Not everybody has to take all 4 classes. Perhaps you begin in the 2nd or 3rd class, or even in the top class. But you'll know that when you come to class, you're going to be in class with other adults working at your same level. So other people won't be way far ahead, and you won't feel like you're stupid, or everybody won't be dragging behind and you feel like it's going too slowly. You'll be in class with people that are, working at your level.
Is math the stickler point for many people?
For many people, math is the hardest. Not for everybody, but for many people.
So what are we aiming for there? To be able to function, to make correct change and balance your checkbook, or?
No, not at all. We have college and career readiness standards.
Wow.
So you're looking at algebra. You're going to start with some math foundations if you need it, but you're going to go up through fractions, decimals, percents, and then you're going to learn some basic algebra in order to pass the GED test.
Logarithms?
No
never
logarithms.
got those.
No logarithms. But it can get a little bit complicated. So students who pass that GED test can really feel proud of themselves.
All right. As we're talking about who this is for, many people listening right now have children in school, and they feel completely unqualified for helping them with homework. Is this something that's available to them as well, just so you can help your own kids with their homework?
Definitely. Even if you have a high school diploma yourself, but your 4th graders bringing home math that you've never heard of, you could definitely come in and improve your own skills in order to be able to better help them.
Let's talk about Common Core. Where are you on that?
Well, our adult standards are based on the Common Core, as are the GED test standards. So we are definitely teaching those same concepts. We are a high school equivalency program, so we would teach the same types of skills that are taught in high school.
This is so interesting because I know one of the complaints that teachers have these days is, I feel like I'm just teaching to the test. With you, this is not a bad thing. That's the goal, to get them to pass these tests so they can get on with life.
Right. When students come in to us, we ask them specifically what their goal is. It's a little different with an adult. And if your goal is to pass the GED test, we know what's on the test, and we go specifically to help you pass that test. If your goal is to maybe pass a pre-employment test, math test, then we will work towards that, or pass the test to get into nursing school, something like that. So we'll ask you specifically what it is that you need to work on, and then we'll go directly towards your goals.
It just sounds like people are able to take this as a launching point for whatever they are dreaming of in the future. Tell me a little bit about the results and some success stories.
The results are great. This year we had 70 GEDs, and those students will go on to college or they'll go on to employment. They'll be great role models for their children because their children will have seen them, working with their homework and struggling to get to class and succeeding. And they'll be able to help their children with their homework, which will be another big plus. We've had people of all ages graduate. We had one gentleman get his GED. He was in his 80s, and he did not need the GED for anything. He just always wanted it. He had raised a family, sent his own children on to college, but he had never had that high school credential, had to leave school early to support his family. We've had other We've had a mother and son graduate together, and father-daughter. Our father-daughter pair was interesting because she came in almost ready to pass the test, and he needed a lot of study. So she helped him and waited for him, and they graduated
They
together.
were study buddies at home?
I think more like a tutor. But
Oh, my goodness.
And that's one other thing that's kind of interesting about the GED. There's 4 subjects on the test. Language arts, which covers reading and writing, math, social studies, and science. And you don't have to take all 4 of the tests at the same time anymore. So you can, when you come in, if we find out that your reading skills are fine, we might suggest that you take a free practice test in reading, and then if it indicates that you're ready, you could go ahead and get that test out of the way. Meanwhile, maybe you're studying your math and your science more, or the other way around. So when you come in, we can figure out, kind of when you're ready to take each test, you can get that one crossed off and then focus on the others.
So the test is individualized, not the test itself, but the time you take it can be individualized. It's not just test day and everybody's got to go in and pencils up, pencils down.
No, you can take it just about any day. It's done on a computer. In a test situation, though, not just at home, but it's done on a computer, so you can go in and take any one of the 4 tests and, kind of get that done. And we do have free practice tests that help the students know if they're ready to take the test or not. So that's always a big help.
Back to the language arts part, I think one thing that's challenging with working for adults is that you're working with a vocabulary level that is small, but content needs to be interesting to adults. It's really hard to hand an adult a Run, Betty, Run.
Right.
So what kinds of curriculum do you use with them?
Luckily, there are lots and lots of materials now written that are adult interest and lower reading levels. So that's very helpful to us. But at Canton City School District, Able, we actually have written our own curriculum. It goes along with our standards and with the GED test. So we own all of our own materials, which means that we can copy them off without violating copyright law and send them home with you. So we have lots and lots of materials. We also have an online platform that students can get to from any computer that's online, so they can connect to our curriculum at home or at the library if they want to study a little bit extra.
Well, she's talking about the ABLE program. This is outstanding that you've actually developed your own program. Tell me a little bit about that process of writing your own curriculum.
That process has been very, very long. We have a very talented curriculum specialist on our staff, Heidi Daniels, and when the new GED came out 2 years ago, before it came out, we began studying the standards and what would be on the test, and we've adjusted the curriculum over time based on what we know is on that test and really honed it in and gotten it down so that it's appropriate for adults and addresses the test.
And people come back saying, you made me completely prepared. I felt totally prepared for this test.
No, people say, I went into the test, I thought I was going to be ill. I was scared. I was sure I failed, but guess what? I passed.
Oh, that's so exciting. And then that graduation day, let's hear about that.
We do have a real graduation. Students are invited. Not everybody can walk or chooses to, but we do walk across the stage. We provide caps and gowns for everyone and give them a diploma cover, and the superintendent shakes their hand and the board members. And it's a very exciting day. The audience is filled with parents who have waited 10, 20, 30 years to see their child graduate, wives, husbands, children, sometimes grandchildren of the graduates, and afterwards we have cake and punch, and it's a very happy day.
I'm going to guess that your dropout rate is very low.
Well, our students don't so much drop out as stop out, and that's kind of okay because when you're an adult and you're working and you're going to school and things happen. You have 3 children and they each get the measles 1 week in a row. You're done with that class.
Yes,
so
yes.
We keep our classes in short sessions, about 7-week sessions. So If you need to stop out for a session, something happens, you're working a especially difficult load at work or something, you can drop out for just that 7 weeks and come back in. Or we have distance classes, so perhaps you can keep working a little bit through distance or come into our open drop-in lab and then join back into classes when your schedule permits it.
So you can put it on pause
Yes.
and pick it up again whenever you need to, and everything is available online?
You can take classes solely online. Most students will use that as a boost and will take some real classes as well, face-to-face classes. But you can do it totally online if you have good reading skills and if you are a pretty self-directed, persistent learner.
And there is something about being in that classroom, particularly I would think with the language classes, of being with others and having that interaction and building relationships. What do you notice there? Friendships develop?
Yes, students are very caring. They help each other. They work together. They help each other with their homework. And one thing that I've noticed in our classes is years ago when I began in adult education, it was mostly students coming in and kind of working out of their workbook on their own, and the teacher would come around and help them. But now it's actually, the classes are actually taught like a high school or a college class. So the teacher's up there, she explains, models, presents some material, then the class works on some problems together. And one thing that I notice is students really like that. They want somebody to teach them. They don't want to just come in and teach themselves. I don't know how to teach myself. I don't know what to teach myself.
That's why I'm here.
Right. So they are very appreciative of having somebody explain it and show it and then, work with them.
Well, as far as teachers and those peoples to help explain and show, do you need volunteers or can people help in some way?
Yes. We do use certified teachers. And if you are a certified teacher and want to work part-time, this might be a good place for you. But we also use volunteers. I myself started as a volunteer in the program, actually. And we use volunteers in our open labs to help the students working on their homework or catching up or pushing forward to get through a little bit quicker. So that's very helpful.
So someone's listening to you right now, Jane Meyer, and they're saying, this is what I want to do. How do they get a hold of you and begin?
Well, they could call me. They could call me at Canton City School District. Just ask for the GED program. Our number is 330-438-2559. And also, Susie, if you're out there and you need a GED or maybe you have a high school diploma but you do need your skills brushed up in order to go to college, you can either call into the program or we register new students every Monday at the main library in downtown Canton.
Oh, wonderful.
We're there every Monday that the library is open. You just need to drop into the GED room. You don't need an appointment. We're there from 9 in the morning until 8 at night. You can drop in, find out more about the program, and tell us a little bit about what your goals are, and then, you can decide if this might be helpful to you.
And enrollment is ongoing.
It's ongoing. Our classes are all year, and we are starting new sessions every 7 weeks, so they could just come in, or maybe some of your listeners themselves don't need our services, but maybe they're thinking, boy, my grandson or my daughter or my next door neighbor or somebody at work. If they pass the information on to them, either have them call us at the school district or just stop in the library on Monday.
Jane Meyer with the ABLE program. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
And for being here on Our Community.
Thank you.